Joining us now is Kim Greene, Georgia Power CEO. Georgia Power is the largest subsidiary of the Southern Company. It serves nearly 3 million customers. It's invested $10 billion in the state's electric grid just in the last decade. Kim, good to have you. Georgia Power recently filed an off-cycle integrated resource plan. It's an update in 2023. And you noted that energy growth through 2030 was roughly 16 times what the company forecast just a year earlier. How did that happen?
Hey, well, good morning. Thank you for having me today. And yes, in Georgia, we're excited about the growth that's happening. We've been serving data centers for years reliably, and largely because of that reliable, affordable power. Data centers, and not just data centers, many manufacturing companies are coming to Georgia. Georgia has been voted the best state for business.
Kim, can I just stop you for a moment?
Over 10 years. Yeah, sure.
I'd just love to have you answer that question. Again, a 16-fold increase just in 1 year in terms of your estimates for 2030. Why?
Yeah, that is really being driven largely by, again, some of the large data centers and the shift in computing, AI, and the learning models that are very data intensive and very energy intensive. And so, yes, just from our forecasts that were really built in about 2021, as we moved into 2023, we saw a big increase in that forecast, and work with our Public Service Commission very constructively to allow us to adjust and meet the demands of these customers.
Right. And, of course, the question we've asked many CEOs in your position of late is, can you meet that demand? Do you feel like the plan that you have in place in terms of increasing the capacity on the grid is going to be capable of meeting the needs of, for example, all of these data centers you just cited?
We are confident that we are able to meet the demand. We have a market structure in Georgia where we are vertically integrated. We are responsible. We own power plants, transmission lines, distribution lines, and we do planning to ensure that we are able to meet reliably the needs of a growing Georgia.
You know, there is, I think, certainly a concern on the part of consumers. Does this mean my rates are going to go up substantially as a result of the needs of so many of these hyperscalers? How do you answer that question?
So our data centers, we've worked, again, constructively with them for years, and they recognize that the needs that they have are large, and they are willing to pay for that, pay for their costs, and shield customers from the cost of those increases that are going to be borne by those data centers.
Yeah, you know, we've been hearing about plans by many of the larger hyperscalers, again, to do so-called deal, you know, behind the meter, essentially just directly have the power come to the data center, not even go over the transmission grid. Are we going to see more of those kinds of things proliferate as well, do you believe, in your region?
Again, if you mentioned the report earlier that NERC just recently issued, if you look at Georgia, there is no concern by NERC around reliability in Georgia. And so to the extent that our grid can provide the reliable power, that really is the choice of many of these consumers. And they are going to rely on us to provide them the power through the grid that we have. And to the extent that there are other options like behind the meter, partnering with some of these folks on sort of one-off transactions. That may happen across the country, but in Georgia, we're good with the structure that we have and the ability to serve these customers from the reliable grid that we have built over the last 100-plus years and will continue to invest in.
Kim, where is as the demand ramps up, where's the source of electricity going to come from? Is it natural gas, renewables, nuclear? How do you think about that mix and what we're capable of?
We have a balanced portfolio of resources that we are depending on, and that includes, yes, going forward, there will be more natural gas, more renewables. We're very proud at Georgia Power and to be the only company that has built new nuclear generation in the last 30 years from scratch. We brought on in the last year and a half 2 new nuclear reactors. And nuclear, if you care about clean air and you care about reliability, nuclear has to be part of our energy portfolio going forward. And so nuclear should be part of this mix as well as, again, the other types of generation that we're familiar with, natural gas, even some coal, and certainly a lot more renewables and batteries. We've also just recently brought online a new battery facility in Georgia. So we believe in a balanced portfolio of all types of generation resources, and we continue to look at bringing all of those to bear as we meet the demands of these customers.
Kim, so many capacity challenges. Of course, the president-elect made a lot of campaign promises about cutting energy prices in half. Now, some of that is just fossil fuel, but is the industry okay with an environment where pricing is not inflationary?
So at Georgia Power, affordability is always top of mind for us, and we'll continue to keep that top of mind. We're always looking for ways to keep our prices lower. And in terms of working with the administration, we've worked with both Republican and Democratic administrations over our 140 years, and I'm sure that we'll continue to work constructively with this administration as well as we all look to be able to provide the growth that's needed by manufacturing, onshoring, reshoring, this data boom that we're experiencing. It's very important that we're able to provide the energy needs of these customers for not just, our state, but for our nation. And it's really, in many ways, becomes a national issue.
Yep, for sure. When data centers potentially are projected to use as much as 8% of total power by 2030. Kim, thank you. Appreciate your taking time.